Hey everybody, this is David Millar with the Millar Group, and we're here to talk with you today about fire hazards, fire hazard insurance, and the fire hazard maps on properties in real estate from Forestville to Guerneville to Monte Rio to Cazadero, all the way out to Jenner, the whole Russian River area. Since we had the fires that I'm sure everybody knows about past years, things have changed quite a bit regarding fire insurance. It used to be able to just call an insurance agent and get a quote overnight. It was easy. Insurance cost you $150 a month. It was no big deal. Now there's quite a different world. We've got a lot of different issues that go on regarding fire insurance. One of them is the AB 38 form, which is a document that you get when you're buying your home. And it tells you whether you are in a high or medium fire hazard area. Another thing is the California FAIR Plan, which is if you are in one of these high fire areas, most likely you can't get traditional fire insurance like you used to be able to from Farmers or State Farm. What you have to do is get the FAIR Plan from the state of California, which just covers you for fire insurance. Doesn't cover you for homeowners insurance. So you have to get a wraparound policy to cover your home also for homeowners insurance. So what you're going to get when you buy a home is called a natural hazard disclosure report. And this is what we're looking at here. And the natural hazard disclosure report has a category that's called fire alerts, zones that may qualify for AB 38 forms and disclosures. So if you are in a high or very high fire hazard severity zone, if you're in a high fire hazard zone state, it's a state responsibility area, or if you're in a very high fire hazard state responsibility area, or a very high fire home local responsibility area, you're most likely going to require the first two, you're going to require an AB 38 form. What that form states is that you as a homeowner will get a fire inspection by the local fire agency who come out and they look at your house. What they do is they look at the trees and the bushes around your house and create a document which asks you to remove generally what you don't want to have is a lot of brush around your house. You want to have a defensible space. So brush and trees around your house, trees hanging over your home. Those also may be issues for the fire department because what they're trying to do is create a defensible space around your house. We found from the last fires that the homes that had defensible spaces were actually able to be saved because the firemen weren't fighting fires of bushes and trees around your house. They were just protecting your house. So now they have this document that makes that requirement. And I'll show you what the map looks like. A visual representation of that is there's two different zones that they're concerned about. One is 30 feet around the house. Another one is 100 feet around the house. Now, the 30 feet, they want to keep all bushes, trees. Don't plant bushes and trees around your house anymore. Leave an area of at least 30 feet around your house where you don't have any bushes or trees, especially right up against the house. You don't want to have any trees that are leaning over the house. So what they'll do is they will come out and they will give you a report for this. Now, in Sonoma County, you're not required to have an inspection at close of sale. So what they will do on this AB 38 form is the seller will say it's the buyer's responsibility to get this inspection within 1 year of buying the home. Now, you can negotiate that point with the seller. You can ask the seller, no, I want you to get the inspection before close of escrow. It's up to you as the buyer which route you want to go, and you will look for the AB 38 form when you are looking at the disclosure package. So that will tell you. I wanted to walk through the map with you and show you, this is in this area here is the Russian River corridor. And the pink areas that you see, those are very high fire zones. That more beige color is a high fire zone. And then the yellow The light yellow and the dark yellow, depending if it is a state responsibility or a local responsibility area, that is going to be considered moderate. So the good news is if you live along the Russian River, this here is the Russian River, this snake looking thing is the Russian River. If you live along the Russian River, we'll start off in Forestville, in Mirabelle Heights. That's Spring Drive, Oak Drive, Grape Avenue. It's that area that's up on the top of the hill. It's very popular for people that are coming out from Santa Rosa looking to buy homes because it's easy to get from there into work at Santa Rosa. And it's also not in the flood zone. Well, it's also in a moderate fire zone. So you've got a good possibility of being able to get insurance from a traditional insurer like State Farm, Farmers. No guarantees, but it's much better of a chance. Then we've got the area through here that's like this lighter faded yellow. That would be Champs-Élysées, Rio Vista, Rio del Corte, Argonne Way. That's kind of across from Steelhead Beach. That area is also in a moderate fire zone. So let's keep going down River Road, and then we start to get into some of the darker stuff. And this is whether it is a state, local, or a local responsibility area. But as we get in near Scenic Drive and then down towards the Hacienda area, that's where you're going to get more into a high fire zone area. So again, you have to check with your local insurer, but if you get in those areas, you're most likely going to have that AB 38 form filled out, which is the inspection. And then you might have to do the state fair plan fire insurance that we talked about earlier. Now going back down River Road, we keep going down River Road. We end up around, and this is interesting here, is, I want to zoom out a little bit. You can see the map zoomed out. Now we're going back down this spot right here, which interestingly enough is Corbel. Looks like it's in a moderate zone, which I don't know the logic behind that, but that's the way what these maps are. A lot of people will say, well, this doesn't make any sense. And a lot of times the maps don't make sense. I don't know how they create them, but it's the same with the flood zones. I personally know the areas that have flooded from my history of seeing the floods firsthand in the past, and areas that they say aren't in a high flood zone flood. Same thing with the fires, but you've just got to go by it is what it is. We can't fight it. Rio Nido is all in a high fire zone now. And that's because during the last fires, and we'll see here, I'll zoom out on the map, you can see all the red areas. That's where the fires spread last time. So those have all been designated high, very high fire risk areas. And interestingly enough, the Armstrong Woods State Park looks like it's a lighter color too. So as we go down the road into Guerneville, we're all still in high fire zone areas. There's some areas here, and this is interesting, and this is Cazadero, where we've got a mismatch of moderate and very high and high zones in Cazadero. So Cazadero, you've got 3 different zones there. On the east side of Austin Creek and Cazadero Highway is generally all a very high fire zone. So again, you would have to have fair plan coverage, enable for you to get fire insurance, and then have one of those wraparound policies. So that's really it in a nutshell. We can go back out. Oh, a little back. Sorry about that. I need to check on that. But I wanted to go back out and show you as you go out towards the coast. It's more look back into the yellow. Duncans Mills, and then out to the coast, out to Jenner, then it's more in the yellow moderate zone. Better chance of being able to get regular fire insurance. So fire insurance has changed. You definitely have to get the fire insurance contingency when you write an offer. And it's just like an inspection contingency. What you're saying is you're saying, I want to have the time to be able to go out and talk to different insurance offices. I have some offices that I can refer you to that specialize in West Sonoma County that know these fire zones very closely. You need to have that time in the contingency period when you're buying a house to make sure that you can get fire insurance. That and doing a septic inspection are really top priorities of time periods that you need to be able to take your time and make sure you're getting what you think you're getting in the property. If you've got any questions regarding fire insurance, flood insurance, flood zones, septic systems, all those types of things, we specialize in the Sonoma County and in the Russian River area in Sonoma County. I'd love to help you out. My name's David Millar. The number 707-217-1786. Have a great day and give us a call if you got any questions. Bye.